investigating the deeper levels of reality in a world awash in chaos. We have a special guest tonight who is joining us at 5 o'clock his time in Belgium to discuss his book, How to Survive 2012. Patrick, how are you?
Hi, Alex. Okay, it's early in the morning, but it's okay.
Well, yeah, I appreciate the fact that we are able to connect on this topic. You know, Patrick, I've been looking around and I see a lot of people talk about the year 2012 more than 3 years ago. Many new authors, many different perspectives, and I'm curious what your perspective is on the year 2012. I notice your website is howtosurvive2012.com. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I started my research 11 years ago, and I published my first book, The Orion Prophecy, 10 years ago in Dutch. And then I looked during 4 years for an English translation. And in the year 2000, I spoke with David Hatcher-Childress from Adventures Unlimited Press, and he decided to publish my books, all three of them, in English. And after that, after the publication of my first book, everything started to go a bit faster. And now I'm working on a survival group for 2012. And in my books, my first book, The Orion Prophecy, I found that a high civilization was able to calculate the previous cataclysm in 9792 BC. And their descendants, the Maya and also the Egyptians, they calculated the next polar reversal for 2012. So in fact, most of the people are not aware of this, and they think that something else will happen in 2012. But it concerns a pole shift.
Patrick, there are a couple things that we know physically that are going to happen on December 21st, 2012. Which one of those things do you talk about in your book, or how many exactly of them are there? That is to say, alignments and things happening within planet Earth around that time period.
Yeah, that is... the big problem is I'm very good in astronomy, and most of the other authors, they haven't had a background in astronomy. Now, what I found, and what is crucial in 2012, is that there is a connection between Venus and what will happen. In the Book of the Dead from the Egyptians, it is stated that in the year that Venus will make a planetary loop. This is a circle above the constellation Orion, that the next cataclysm will happen. And also in the year of the previous cataclysm, in 9792 BC, Venus made a planetary loop above the constellation Orion. Now, this happens. This same movement happens every 243 years. But what is very special about the year 2012, that when Venus is exactly, but also exactly in the middle of its loop above Orion, it passes before the Sun. And this gives us a connection between Venus, the Earth, and the Sun. So, according what will happen in the year 2012, according to the Maya and the Egyptians, there will be a huge outburst of the Sun, a very big reversal of the magnetic field of the Sun. This will throw trillions of particles to the Earth, and when these particles from the Sun reach the Earth, the magnetic field of the Earth will change, and that will have major repercussions for the Earth. So most of the people, more than 99% of the people, won't survive this cataclysm.
So you are again in what you would call the main point you're trying to make in the book, or the main thesis is pointing towards this pole shift, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, yes, it's a pole shift. So when the particles fall in the magnetic field of the Earth, they will give an opposite current from the inner core of the Earth. And the inner core of the Earth will be, in a few hours, in less than a day, will be put upside down. So the inner core that is now pointing to the north will then be pointing to the south. And also the North Pole will change in the South Pole. And this can be seen in lava outflows from past, and in the 60s and the 70s from the previous century, then the most of the scientists, they said that the North Pole changes into the South Pole every 11,500 years. And in the 90s from the previous century, they changed their mind and they said, no, it doesn't happen. There is a larger movement. It's every 500,000 years. And they didn't give a good answer why they changed their mind. And but there is a lot of proof that the ice ages occur every 11,500 years in relation with the changing of the magnetic poles.
Okay.
So I am very, very convinced that the cycle from the Maya and the Egyptian is indeed right, and that we will have a major change in the magnetic field of the Earth and the Sun in 2012.
I think we know now that we're going to see some major changes with the weather, but just to reiterate, you're seeing more or less an ice age as opposed to a major heating up of the planet?
Yeah, what will happen? Now, when the inner core of the Earth goes upside down, the movement of the Earth will change. Now the Sun comes up in the east and goes down in the west. But when the movement of the Earth changes, the Sun will come up in the west and go down in the east. Now you have on the equator the speed of the oceans at the equator is about 1,000 miles an hour. This speed in about one day will go to zero and then will speed up again till 1,000 miles an hour. This is a movement change from 2,000 miles an hour, and with that an unbelievable tsunami from more than 2 kilometers high will go over the whole Earth. Do you understand me? This is in fact what in the Bible is the story of Noah. Noah said every mountain, high mountain on the earth was under the water, and this is in fact what happened about 12,000 years ago.
So is your focus on 2012 research primarily the pole shift? Have you found anything to indicate that how humans relate to each other in terms of consciousness is going to change? Knowing what we know about the moon's effect on the human body, that our bodies are 90% water, and they talk about when the tide is in or out, having an effect on the human brain. With all of these changes with the sun and with Venus, as you mentioned earlier, is there an effect that you see from your research on humans?
Yeah, there will be also, when the poles shift and the magnetic field change, you know, a lot of animals, they use the magnetic field of the Earth. And when that changes, they will be disorientated. So the whales and the birds, they will be disorientated for a long time, and they will die in large quantities.